the Penguins' playoff identity has not been as good as we've seen in years past. The last 3 years, they lost last year against a Montreal team they had no business losing to. That was the worst team talent-wise in the expanded 12-team playoffs, but they had no business losing to that team. The year before, they got swept by the Islanders, and the year before, they lost to the Capitals, like I said, after beating the Flyers, I think barely, when they were a way better team than the Flyers. So the Penguins' playoff identity has not been the same since the 2 Cups, and I definitely agree with you. If they lose again, I could see Malkin getting traded because he has been very injury-prone.
Yep. And I think also the coach getting fired.
Mike Sullivan.
I know his daughter is dating the defenseman for the Boston Bruins, McAvoy from Long Beach, because I know they hang out over there at the rinks over there. So it's going to be interesting. So why don't we go through our picks, Speedy?
Alrighty.
Let's go and discuss what we think is going to happen in the first round. Go ahead.
All right, so the first we'll start in the East. You have the Islanders winning, and how many games?
I have the Islanders winning in 5.
I have it winning in 6. I think the Penguins will have one scoring outburst, and that's it. All right, Washington and Boston.
That's going to be a great series. I'm going to have Boston in that series. And I think Boston, Tyler Hall, the power and the ability that this team has, and really the goal scoring that they have on consistent lines. Now it's not just about one line. Everybody talks about how great their first line is. How about their second line with Taylor Hall? So I'm going to go with Boston 4-2.
I'm going to go with Boston. I'm going to go with Boston in 7. I think this will be a very physical series. I'm waiting for the Tom Wilson-Brad Marchand fight. I think there could be a couple of those, too, because they're not going to the Bruins are not going to be one of those teams that are going to just take him lightly. And the physicality with both teams will break out. But the Capitals, they struggle in Game 7. So I'm going to take the Bruins in a very intense 7-game series. All right, on the other end of that bracket, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Nashville Predators.
I got Carolina in the game, in the series. I think Carolina hopefully is going to play better in the playoffs. Rob Brindamore, that's looking for another big contract. A lot of people say that the Rangers are interested in him if he doesn't get re-signed with the Carolina Hurricanes. I think he is going to get signed, and I think he's going to prove himself in this series. I've got Carolina in this series in 7.
I'm going to take them pretty easily in that because I don't think Nashville's that good. I think Nashville, since they fired Laviolette, John Hines is not a good coach. Their offensive depth has not been the same. And even their goaltending, Saros came back later in the season and played better, but was not as consistent as it should have been for having him and them and Rene. I'm going to take Hurricanes in 5. All right, the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning, Battle of Florida.
Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. I've got Tampa in a very close series because Florida is an explosive team. They proved it. It could be an upset, too. I think Florida could definitely upset them as well. But I got Tampa. I think they're the champions. They have the most depth defensively, and I think going into the playoffs, they have the most depth defensively throughout the playoffs. So Tampa, I will say in 7.
If Kucherov wasn't coming back, I probably would have taken the upset with Florida because of Joel Quenneville, his playoff experience. But I'm going to take Tampa as well because I don't think Florida has enough defense. Bobrovsky's up and down in the playoffs, but no Ekblad is really going to hurt the Panthers. So I'm going to take the Lightning in 6. You're right, though. They did play well head-to-head against the Lightning in the regular season. All right, to Canada now. The Edmonton Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, this is an easy series. Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid's going to splash, and this is the year. If they have any chance of getting to the Stanley Cup Finals because it's so open in the West, it's this year. I got Connor McDavid exploding off the paper and off your sheets this year in the playoffs. So Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers win this series 4-2.
I think the winner of this series will be at the other series for sure, but I'm going to go the opposite. I'll take Winnipeg in this one. I trust Hellebuck as a goaltender a lot more than I trust Mikko Koskinen. The Oilers' defense has been better, but still not great. But Winnipeg's defense has been surprisingly good this year. We thought they might lose a lot, losing Trouba, no Bufflin, but they've actually been pretty good, and they're physical too, and better coach. So I'm going to take Winnipeg in 6. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, well, you know where I'm going with this.
I know, and I think I agree with you.
I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price, a healthy Carey Price. I think he's one of the most underrated goaltenders of all time. When healthy, who's better than Carey Price? He's a sensational goaltender that also plays very well in the playoffs when he is healthy. So, and what Montreal's done this year has been absolutely sensational. They're an explosive team. They play very good defense, team defense, and they have great goaltending. I got Montreal in this series. 7 games against the John Tavares, Bull Dinky Toronto Maple Leafs.
I completely agree. I'm going Montreal in 7 as well. I think Carey Price definitely will steal some games. Some of the young offensive players will play well. And the Leafs, despite having this great regular season, will crumble under pressure as usual. And I think they'll get shut out in Game 7 like they did last year.